Luke Campbell dropped him, he got up. Gervonta Davis says, if I catch you with that shot, you're not getting up. What do you think?
Yeah, well, I mean, the key word is if, you know. I think Ryan Garcia, the longer people wait to fight him, the longer these fights, take to make happen, the more dangerous he's going to get, you know. If Ryan Garcia, he wants Tank Davis like tomorrow. He wants to fight. He knocks him out in 2 rounds, he says, right? And we're going to push for that fight. We're going to push for that fight because that's what he wants. But if for some reason it doesn't get made, well, guess what? The more time that passes by, Ryan Garcia is just getting better and better. And he's going to become this force that is going to be unstoppable. When he tightens up his defense, when he gets stronger, he hasn't developed his man strength yet. And he's already very strong. And his speed is impeccable. So, yeah, I want that fight to happen. But if for some reason it doesn't happen, then and if it happens down the road, the more time that passes, the better chances Ryan has against anybody.
People want to know how fast can you make it happen?
Yeah.
And what can go wrong? Obviously, 2 different promoters.
Yeah.
It's very hard. So what can get in the way?
Yeah, I mean, look, and you know this, I'm sure, is TV networks. I'm sure the fighters want to make it happen. I'm sure the fighters want to fight each other. But there's a lot, the COVID as well. I strongly feel that a fight of that magnitude should be in front of 50,000 people. You know, I think that fight should be in Las Vegas as the first boxing event at the Raiders Stadium in Las Vegas, in downtown Las Vegas. So, we don't want to leave all that money on the table and scratch our heads thinking, wow, we should have staged that fight when things got better with COVID, and we can allow people and fans to watch that fight. This can be like the Super Bowl of boxing. So I don't know when that fight can happen. I'm hoping it can happen sooner than later. I'm a promoter that is willing to make any fight happen just for the sake of the sport and for the fans. On the other hand, PBC is a whole different story. Like, I don't control PBC. Fights, for some reason, are still difficult to make within PBC for some reason. They have all the welterweights in the world, okay? And they still can't fight each other. What's going on? Something is wrong there. I don't understand it. We should be able to see the best fights happen. So imagine PBC working with a different promoter. It's just difficult. It's difficult to make. Not impossible, but just difficult to make.
Ryan Garcia says he wants Manny Pacquiao.
And I would make that in a heartbeat. I literally would make that fight. Maybe not in a heart, maybe in a couple of heartbeats, but I would actually make that fight end of this year or early first quarter of next year. I'd love that fight for Ryan. Yeah, that takes Ryan to a whole new level. When you're inside fighting with a legend, it's kind of like changing of the guards. When I fought Floyd Mayweather and he beat me, Floyd Mayweather skyrocketed to superstardom. And when Manny Pacquiao fought me and beat me, guess what? He skyrocketed to a superstardom. This would be the same thing. It's like the changing of the guard for Ryan Garcia and Manny Pacquiao.
Nobody can say anything about his speed and power.
Right.
Sparring partners say, you know what?
Yeah,
he has power.
He's the
very
real deal.
fast. Nobody denied that. But what are we going to do with defense?
Yeah, I mean, look, everybody has their flaws. There's not one perfect fighter out there, that doesn't get hit. A fighter who maybe lacks a little defense, a little offense. And Ryan Garcia, he's a work in progress. He's a fighter that's still learning. I believe this is his 4th or 5th fight with Eddie Reynoso. So yes, in his last fight with Campbell, he got hit with a vicious left hook, where a lot of fighters would have stood down. A lot of fighters would have been knocked out. So one thing that showed me was Ryan Garcia. Not only does he have the heart, but he has that champion's mentality. Like, he gets back up and wins the fight in a very impressive fashion. He's not a boring fighter. He's a very aggressive, very, confident young man who has a lot of flaws. But the wonderful thing about it is that he's willing to work at it. He wants to learn. He wants to become the best. He doesn't want to fight 1 time, 2 fights a year. No, he wants to fight 3, 4, 5 times a year. He wants to fight the very best. And at 22 years old, he's on his way to becoming a force to be reckoned with in boxing.
They actually gave him much more respect.
Yeah,
that
when he went
got
down.
dropped in.
Exactly.
He showed that, I can do more than just.
I'm actually glad. I'm actually glad he went down. I'm actually glad the fight couldn't have turned out better. Because yes, he's a pretty boy. Yes, he's cute. Yes, he's handsome. That's great. That's all wonderful for your brand. That's all wonderful for you to get commercials and sponsorships, and it's great. And you're gonna sell out arenas. But he can fight. And that's one thing that it showed us that night. It showed us that Ryan Garcia is the real deal. Mm-hmm. Ryan Garcia is a special fighter, inside and outside the ring. Meaning, if you put together an Elvis Presley, Brad Pitt, a Canelo Alvarez, an Oscar De La Hoya, you have Ryan Garcia. Like, that's how big he can be. Because if you think about it now, with social media, with the your conventional, traditional media like linear TV that's out there, combined, he's generating literally millions and millions of eyeballs watching him, and he's only 22 years old, and that's the beauty of promoting a Ryan Garcia. See, us at Golden Boy, like, we have this formula that we used with Canelo Alvarez, where we've helped out so many fighters in basically promoting them to become superstars. And Ryan Garcia is one of those fighters that is the whole package. When he fights, not only are you generating the boxing world's eyeballs, but also you're attracting a new audience. All these little girls that want to watch him fight, the grandmothers that love him, the aunts that want to kiss him because he's so cute. It's a phenomenon, and we're very well positioned with him. The world of boxing should be very grateful for Ryan Garcia, because he's kind of like, he can be the Tiger Woods of boxing, where Tiger Woods brought in a whole new audience. Tiger Woods was able to help out the PGA in attracting more dollars. So yeah, Ryan Garcia's in a great position to become a global superstar.
I would like to ask you about your promotion. You have Ryan Garcia, you have Vergil Ortiz. What else you have, and what are the plans in the promotion?
Yeah, no, we're super excited about where Golden Boy is positioned. We've been promoting for the last 20 years now, and we've been promoting the biggest events, including Floyd Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao, and I promoted the Deontay Wilders, and people forget that we built all those fighters, and so we have the formula to do it once again. It's like, what's happening now is that the new wave of new fighters is there's a transitional stage that's happening, and fighters like Vergil Ortiz, fighters like Ryan Garcia are the future of boxing. When you talk about Canelo, and he's still in his prime, you think about the next generation that follows him are with Golden Boy. The Jaime Munguias, who, by the way, I'm in deep talks and negotiations with Triple Jesus people to make that fight happen. We're excited about the future of Golden Boy. I can't forget about Jojo Diaz. You can't forget about Fran Shaw, who's our female world champion, who is amazing. Shu Kan, who is incredible from China. So there's a lot of world champions, a lot of great prospects that are in the pipeline to become superstars. And so, we're going to continue doing what we do best. I mean, there's so many other plans and that we're brewing up to take boxing just to another level with digital, with the platforms. It's we're here every day working as hard as we can to come up with creative ideas to take boxing to a bigger audience. And I'm excited.
The fight's coming up is Jojo Diaz.
Yeah.
So can you tell me what happened with Jojo? Are you guys okay? Or?
Yeah, everything is look. Boxing is a funny sport. Boxing is like a family, And in families you have, differences. You have discussions. You have fights. But at the end of the day, it's family. Jojo Diaz is fighting his mandatory. He's happy. We have Kovalev with Beck, who Beck, by the way, is 6-0 with 5 knockouts. I actually want to take Bob Arum's blueprint, what he did with Lomachenko, and do the same with Beck. I think Beck can become a world champion in only 8 fights, which would set a record there. So it's the boxing world is a small community of a lot of characters and family, and at the end of the day, we should work together to become to grow the sport, to make sure that the sport continues to grow and to expand, because boxing is never going to go anywhere. Boxing is going to continue to grow if we find the ways and the solutions to come together and work together to prosper.